Have you ever believed that the only reason you've made it this far is because of your own sheer grit and determination? Have you told yourself, if I stop pushing, everything will collapse? Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are going to explore a different way of seeing endurance, one that lifts a huge weight off your shoulders, the idea that what has carried you through your hardest moments is not only your willpower, but something much deeper, the fundamental Buddha nature, the innate clarity and compassion that has always been quietly sustaining you. Two truths to hold at the start. First, willpower is real, but it is like the sails on a boat, useful for catching the wind, but useless without the ocean current as beneath. Second, this deeper current, Buddha nature, doesn't disappear when we forget it. It is constantly moving under our life, ready to support us when we stop thrashing against it. A friend named Kai believed himself to be the perfect example of self-made, from childhood poverty, through academic struggles, to a demanding career. He credited everything to pushing harder than anyone else. But when his father became ill, his relationship ended, and his company downsized all in the same year, Kai found that pushing no longer worked. One night, exhausted and numb, she sat in his car in the parking lot, unable to turn the key. He thought, I can't hold it all together anymore. And in that moment of letting go, he felt not collapse but a strange ease, as though something caught him before he could fall. It wasn't that his problems vanished, it was that his whole body stopped fighting them for a few breaths. Later, he realized he had simply allowed himself to rest in something that had been there all along. The Buddhist view is that beneath our shifting thoughts and moods lies an unconditioned awareness, Buddha nature, which is not something we have to create. It is like the open sky above clouds, always present whether we see it or not. When we rely solely on willpower, we are like birds flapping frantically against the wind. When we also trust the Buddha nature, we remember that the wind itself can carry us if we open our wings differently. Another example comes from Mai, a single mother working 2 jobs. She often told herself, if I stop for even a day, my children will suffer. This belief kept her grinding through illness and exhaustion. One winter evening, on her way home from her second shift, she missed her bus and had to walk. She was too tired to think of anything except putting one foot in front of the other. After a few blocks, she noticed something odd. Though she had stopped mentally driving herself, her body still moved, steady and sure. She felt the crunch of snow under her feet, the rhythm of her breath, the faint glow of street altered. Something is carrying me, she thought. That night she realized she could lean into that something more often, allowing moments of rest even in the middle of action. You might ask, how do I tell the difference between willpower and Buddha nature? Willpower often feels tense, urgent, contracted, it says, the I must. Buddha nature feels spacious, steady, and kind, it says, Pai Kang. Willpower tires quickly and demands recharge through achievement or rest. Buddha nature is not exhausted by effort because it's not a resource we burn, it's the ground from which all resources arise. In practice, how do we access this deeper force? First, we notice when we are gripping too hard, jaw tight, shoulders hunched, breath shallow. In that moment, instead of pushing through, we pause and let the breath fall naturally. Second, we shift attention from the problem to the simple fact of awareness, hearing sounds, feeling the weight of the body, noticing the contact of feet on the floor. This interrupts the cycle of mental struggle and reminds us that we are more than the thinker of thoughts. Third, we cultivate small acts of trust, choosing to release control over minor things, letting someone else decide the route, taking a slower line at the store. Each time, we see that the world does not collapse without our constant micromanagement. The monk whose notes inspired this teaching wrote, "When I was young, I thought I was carrying the load. Now I know I was carried." He recalled a time during alms rounds when he became ill halfway to the village. He felt certain he would faint. Then, without deciding, His body slowed, his breath deepened, and he reached the shade of a tree. Villagers later came by with water and rice. He realized that the moment he stopped demanding strength from himself, the natural rhythm of life, Buddha nature, placed the next step before him. This shift in perspective doesn't make us passive, it frees us from the exhausting illusion that we must create all strength from scratch. When we recognize Buddha nature at work, we can still apply willpower, but now it's like rowing with the current instead of against it. The work becomes lighter, decisions clearer, relationships gentler. So next time you're at the edge of your capacity, try this: pause, soften, and notice what's already holding you up. You may find that the ground under your feet is far more solid than you thought, and that the strength you've been crediting to sheer will has always been shared with something vaster, quieter, and endlessly supportive. Thank you for watching this video.